What is up, good people? Welcome to Excellence Personified with Elijah L. Harris. I am him. I am your boy, Mr. Elijah L. Harris himself. Man, thank you for taking the time to join me. I absolutely appreciate it. Each and every one of you, each and every time. I promise you I do. I don't say that just because. If it's your first time tapping in to join me, welcome to my excellence community. I'm not going to make you raise your hand to stand up like they do in church. I'm not going to embarrass you, but just know that I see you and I'm thankful that you took the time to tap in. Around here, we like to talk about excellence. We talk about what it looks like, what it feels like to live an excellent lifestyle from wherever you are. Doesn't have to look glamorous or make a lot of money, but we have the opportunity to choose to live an excellent lifestyle. And we talk about that and what it looks like, the peaks and the valleys of it, and just, walk away inspired, feeling like I could walk away and do more or be more or reach deeper down inside of you to identify that excellence that's already lying within you and waiting for you to uncover it and use it. This episode, I don't have any secret guests coming from behind the curtain. All you got is me, but I'm going to keep it short and sweet for you. This particular episode I'm recording, Savannah has a 2-hour delay. So I figured, I got a little bit of extra time. Let me jump on here and record this episode that's been weighing on my heart and talk about what this upcoming year, the rest of the year, will look like for me. Before I get into that, I got to give you a mental, emotional check-in, a little rating. How am I doing? How am I feeling? I'm on the up and up. I feel good right now as we record, right? I do this because as I've discovered about myself, I can waver a little bit. I'm working on resilience and being able to withstand a lot of what comes along with life and continue to push forward and be the best version of myself. I haven't always been the best at that. And I'm working on refining that skill and setting a standard or a framework of things I can just like lean on and be like, you know what? I'm going to lean on this and it's going to get me through that. You feel what I'm saying? And part of that is my relationship with God, which I focused a lot on, throughout January and other things that make me who I am. I think for each of us, we have to identify like, well, what are those? My therapist calls it our pillars or my pillars. I've got 4 or 5 of them, right? Faith, family, football is even one of them, my friends. And there's one other one I think I'm forgetting. But anyway, those are my pillars that like if things are starting to crumble around me, look at the pillars. What's going on? If things aren't stable in one of them areas, figure it out, fix it, get your life right. Anyway, I'm working on building my resilience. To give you a rating, mental, emotional, where I'm at, I would say I'm at a 7.5 or an 8. I'm doing well this week. Now, one thing I will say is that I need to make sure as I do these ratings and kind of like check in on myself, I need to make sure that, I guess it's kind of what I just spoke to, right? That I don't rise and fall with the state of what things are around me. Because I think part of the reason that I'm on a high right now is because of something that I've done, something that I've accomplished. I'm not going to sit in here and talk about that right now. Doesn't matter. But the point is, that's an external thing, right? So when that wears off and it goes away, and I'm like, okay, it is what it is. And I just go back to regular life. Am I going to drop again? So I feel like where I'm at mentally, emotionally, shouldn't waver with the state of life. It does naturally, but I think as people, we have to learn to be able to resist that and just wake up and choose the mindset of excellence, which is what we talk about around here. Wake up and choose that. Wake up and choose that. Nobody's here, waking up with you in your mind and in your heart, telling you what to think, what to believe, how to choose to live life. That's up to you. That's up to me. And that's what I need to focus on sometimes, because it leaves me, right? And I gotta look inside, look in the mirror and be like, hey, what's up? Like, none of that stuff matters. You are you. You wake up with you every day. You have the choice to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, well, I'm about to rock this, whatever it is that I have in front of me, whatever's lined up for my day. Choose that, right? So I'll say I'm at a 7.5 or an 8. in that range today. I'm feeling, feeling pretty good. But yeah, but just be mindful of why you feel the way that you do, and make sure that it's not completely externally motivated, because external motivation, that'll come and that'll go, and it'll leave you exactly where you started. So take that for what it is. All right, I'm gonna try to be, pretty direct with this one. I'm gonna talk about my year upcoming, and I'm gonna talk about what my theme for the year is, right? So far, I think, we've gotten into 2025. The election has come and gone. The inauguration has come and gone. The state of the U.S., the state of the union is what it is. This is not what this podcast is about. However, we have to maneuver and live life around these things, right? If we have to pivot and change direction or do things differently, so be it. But we're here and we got to continue to push forward. And so a lot of January, I've kind of rolled into this year a little bit slow. I've taken some time to look within myself, streamline some things. I feel like it's not good to talk about when you fast and tell people if you are on a spiritual journey or fasting or praying or any of those things. But I did, I went through the Daniel fast. I went through the Daniel fast this January, and it's not the first time I've done it. I've done it before, but it was a way to cleanse my body, cleanse my mind, and cleanse my soul, and allow me to kind of reinvigorate my heart a little bit. I think a lot of times for me, I lose sight of my heart and I'm just a walking robot. And so I took January to be slow and intentional about who I want to be and how I want to show up for the rest of the year. And I can say that I think I have some more spiritual work to do. I'm done the fast, quote unquote, but I'm not completely outside of that mindset just yet, because I'm afraid to roll back into the stale version of me that is not cognizant of how I'm showing up each and every day, how I'm feeling and how I'm thinking, and my relationship with God. I think I lose sight of that a lot of times when I'm living life and doing all the things that I'm responsible for, parenting and just showing up for people. I lose sight of myself really easily. And so January, I got quiet. I didn't talk to a whole lot of people. I made sure to, pray a little bit more and just fulfill the space with not just my own thoughts or, social media or TV shows or any of that stuff, but more sermons, more reading, and less food. The food part is important, right? There's a reason you fast. It's to cleanse your body of all the toxins you're putting in it, but allow you to focus on other things. And for me, food is one of my vices. Sometimes, people are sex addicts and drug addicts and you like to drink and all that stuff. I haven't drank anything all year, but food is one of them things for me. I snack a lot. I like to eat. And when I'm going through something in life or I'm bored, I eat. And you might look at me and be like, well, dang, you thin. Where all the food go? I don't know. That's genetics. But the reality is I eat, and it's sometimes emotional eating. It's sometimes just to take my mind off of other things. That's what I do. So part of this has been cleansing my body of the food that's in it, and it's allowed me to feel better physically. But just being able to focus. Just being able to focus. Don't overlook that food part. What you put in your body is a lot of times how you feel and how you show up. And so I do think that this will be somewhat of a lifestyle shift for me, because I know how I feel when I eat whatever it is that I want to eat. And I know how I feel when I eat cleaner and more intentional. And they are two different things. I can assure you of that. But now I got to figure out how to sustain that. Because when you're fasting, you're in that mindset of I got nothing. I ain't gonna have nothing. I ain't gonna eat nothing. I got God, and that's it, right? And that's hard to just pivot and just be in that mindset consistently forever. But I got to find a balance of just what my diet is really gonna entail and how I'm gonna approach that. But that part is important for me too, because I do want to be kind of firing on all cylinders mentally and physically too. So that's been important, right? As we get into this year, I haven't talked about it on this show, and it still isn't even actually the point of what I'm gonna get to, but I have a child on the way. we have a child on the way, right? Another baby is coming. And I feel like it's one of them things you got to prepare for. Unless you're on child 4, 5, or 6, and it's just like, oh, well, add them to the mix. I got to get my mind right. I got to get my body right. Like, dads, if you've been there and done that, like, especially that newborn, that infant phase, they can't walk. So you're going to be carrying them around. So don't wait until they're here to get in shape. You better start moving. You better start lifting something. Get used to it. You're going to be carrying some diapers, diaper bags, carrying a baby. Like, don't hurt yourself trying to do all that. Get in shape a little bit. So I've been trying to be mindful of that too, and prepare myself to show up and be the best parent that I can be. The first time around, life came at me very quickly, and I wasn't all the way prepared. I think, as a first time parent, you don't know what to prepare for. You just hope that you are equipped enough to be able to be a good parent. Be there and do your job. Learn along the way and just be as best as you can be. The second time around, obviously, it's been 6 years or so since the first time for me. So I'm a different person at this point, and I'm trying to be aware of some of my gaps as a person, as a parent, and do it better the second time. I think a lot of you can probably listen and look back to your own experience, and maybe you were the second child, maybe you're the baby, maybe you're the third child, whatever it is, and you get a different version of your parents than your older sibling did. It's because your parents were probably different people by the time you came along. And that's real. But as a parent, you want to show up and be the best version of yourself as best as possible for each of your children. And my hope, my prayer is that I have developed in ways that I wasn't, all the way developed for the first go round, able to use my voice more, able to be delicate with my child's or my children's thoughts and feelings, and be delicate with my own, and give give myself grace. Understand that these children are little people, right? They are little people. And I've been going through therapy. I gotta stop rapping. I'll be getting off topic. I've been going through therapy, and when you do that, a lot of times you look at your inner child and how you were raised and how you were developed, and that inner child is still inside of you. Even as an adult, you can be 40, 50 years old, you still have an inner child that's lying within you that you feel the need to cater to or to take care of, or you want the people around you to see that version of you, see that person, and cater to you and take care of you, right? But as an adult, you can't spend time thinking about life as that child, because it's going to show up and be emotional and young in ways when you are grown, and also emotional sometimes, but you're more rational in your thoughts and feelings, hopefully. But my goal, my hope, my prayer is that I show up and be more rational as an adult, more rational as a parent, and be aware that I'm taking care of this actual child, not just an inner child, but a whole child, and be delicate with their thoughts, feelings, and needs, and not be like, you be all right, because I can do that now, even with Savannah. And I got to check myself sometimes and be like, no, she might not be all right. Like, you might be all right as an adult, as someone who can see the forest from the trees, but this child, they may not. So meet them there and have some empathy to be able to take them through whatever it is that they're going through. Man, I did not. There's some soft skills and things that you just have to be mindful of as an adult in relationships, period, but especially as a parent, because you're modeling that behavior for the people that you are raising. And they are fully functioning people. Now that Savannah is in school, we get to see the fruits of our labor, if you will, and how she's showing up with and for the people around her. And let me tell you something. It's been a mess. I ain't gonna hold you. We've had some conflicts at school. We've had to go to the school, have some conversation with these people, and hey, be like, hey, look, what is going on up in here? Y'all need to get it right. We're gonna try to do what we can do at home, but it's a mess up in here right now. So, and that's real. Like, yeah, but beyond becoming a new parent again, I'm looking forward to unhiding. Unhiding, right? The theme for me for my year is to unhide and seek. And this goes back to a conversation that I had at work with someone who we were potentially going to work with. We're hoping we could work with, but she is an author, former CEO, founder of her business, speaker at this point in time, Ruth Rathblot. Shout out to you. If this does find you in some way, shape, or form, in the short conversation that we had with my leader and with you, and just exploring the opportunity of having you come in, this was what you brought to us was extremely enlightening for me, very timely, and is going to spearhead my year, right? Coming out of that conversation, I was like, E, you have been hiding for quite some time, right? And it led me to ask for her book for Christmas. So shout out to my sister who made that happen for me and got me Ruth's book for Christmas. But in her book, she talks about what it looks like to hide, why we hide as people, and we may not show up completely as our authentic self. And this idea stems from Ruth, living with a limb difference. And so one of her hands is different, right? Not deformed, or she's not disabled per se, but it's different, right? And as a CEO, as she rose in the ranks of business, she hid that part of herself, right? Even as a leader, even as an influence, understanding the position that she had, she hid that part of herself because she didn't want to be looked at differently, thought about differently, disrespected for any reason. She hid that part of herself. And over time, that started to weigh on her because she knew there's a huge part of her that she has not uncovered. She has not told people, right? And when you show up and you're not your whole self and comfortable to be that gets heavy. It gets heavy. And as she shared like her story and the idea of hiding, I was sitting there thinking to myself, like, E, you've been really good or really bad. I guess hiding isn't good, but you've been a hider for much of your life, to be honest, right? I used to call myself a runner. When things happen or show up in my life that I don't like, conversations that I don't want to have, situations that I don't want to be in, things I don't want to deal with, I run from them, right? And I've actually kind of shifted gears from that. I don't think I run from stuff. I think I hide from things. And it's crazy because when you hide, you think, oh, well, the game of hide and seek is going to end. They just going to go away. That's not how life works. The things around you aren't necessarily going to go away. Because, and you know what's funny? You might think that the things that you're hiding from are going to go away, and physically, they might. Okay, the people that you're hiding from might get tired of looking for you. They might go away, right? You might miss out on opportunities because time passed and now they're gone. That might be true, but the reason that you hid in the first place, that's going to be right there waiting for you to unhide and to seek. And so for me, as I'm thinking about the idea of hiding and not being your fullest authentic self, hiding parts of you that you don't want people to see, this is an internal thing. This has nothing to do with those around you. And so last year, I read this book that's called Worthy, and I've studied that, and I've kind of geared my life around making sure that I pour into and uplift my self-worth. But now it's like, okay, I know I'm worthy of said things. I know I'm worthy of whatever success comes my way. Cool. Now get comfortable with unhiding and seeking those things because they are waiting for you. If you don't seek them, you'll never find them and you will never have them. And if you're sitting there hiding, thinking like, yo, well, I'm insecure and I'm not worthy of these things, you're not going to have any of these things. And why are you hiding in the first place? Because somebody at some point in time told you that this part of you is not accepted, is not worthy. So, okay, if I'm going to get to where I want to go, I need to hide this part of myself. And that's not true. Because the place that you end up when you're showing up as your inauthentic self is probably not where you actually want to be. We find ourselves hiding with the people that we live with. We find ourselves hiding with the people that we work with. We find ourselves hiding with the people that we came from because they hurt you at some point in time. If you find yourself in that situation where you are not just celebrated, but just accepted as who you are completely, then it's time to look around at your environment and see, are you hiding something intentionally and why? Or are you in a situation or a place where all of you just simply isn't accepted? Both of those situations, whether you're hiding or they don't accept you, require change, require action. For me, I hide when I don't want to have a tough conversation. I hide because I feel like certain parts of myself aren't accepted, right? And I can tell you that it gets heavy. It gets stressful. Like, for a couple months now, I've had a ton of stress in my shoulders, in my neck, as I've been like looking through this unhiding thing and like thinking about my life. And I don't talk a whole lot. I don't reach out to people. It's all hiding. I'm safeguarding my heart because I don't want to be rejected for any reason, in any way, shape, or form. And it gets heavy. It gets tiring because it goes against who I actually am as a person. Like, I have this podcast because I want to talk, but sometimes I don't want to talk to people. So if I carve out this little space right here, I can sit, I can get these things off my chest because I know I'm excellent on the inside, but I might be afraid to show you or talk to you or expose myself in ways that I don't really want to. That is a part of hiding. Right? That's a stoop kids afraid to leave the stoop type attitude and mentality. If you know, you know. Stoop kids afraid to leave the stoop. Stoop kids afraid to leave the stoop. Hey, shout out to Hey Arnold. But when Stoop Kid left the stoop, it sent shockwaves through the neighborhood. It was like, oh snap! Stoop Kid left the stoop. Unhide and seek what is out there for you. What's out there waiting for you? Who's out there waiting for you? Man, what's crazy? I mentioned at the beginning, the inauguration has come and gone. We've been in this little thing, whatever, for 2 weeks or whatever. Some people are unhiding and seeking because they feel like they are empowered to do so. They got the space, the time, the energy to do so out on Front Street. Look at that. Look at who they are and who they decided to be when they unhid. I'm gonna leave that where that is. I'm gonna share one more thing that kind of popped into my head as I was thinking about this, kind of randomly, to be honest with you. When I first started making content, I started to talk about Christian hip hop. If you know me, you've been following me, that's where I started, right? And that was a part of me that I wanted to unhide and show off to the world. I felt like the music that I was listening to was really impactful for me. I felt like it would be impactful for those around me. And it was just a true, genuine version of expression of myself at the time. And people appreciated that because when they see you and they get a chance to know you, your most authentic self is what they're going to appreciate the most. And if you can find that and express yourself in that way, it's a beautiful thing for you and for everyone around you that's waiting to consume it or to get to know you. But anyway, I started in the Christian hip hop space, talking about music, relating the music to life, and just kind of tying the dots there. And eventually I got away from that, right? And I was thinking that, well, maybe part of the reason that I got away from that is because life started happening and my relationship with God started to get challenged. And it was certain parts of me that I did not want on Front Street. And I stopped making content because I didn't want to show up as someone who wasn't perfect, who didn't have it all together, who wasn't the best version of himself. Even if that version of himself was authentic, that was the best version of me that you was going to get at the time. I didn't want to show that, right? So what I did was I hid and I went away. And you started to hear from me less. You started to see me less. And eventually, I evolved completely. And I changed my brand. I restarted things. And I've launched this Excellence platform. And this is not to downplay anything that I'm doing right now. But one thing I did think, though, was that maybe part of the reason that I pivoted and changed and rebranded is because my relationship with God changed. I hid, for the most part, that complete side of myself in terms of exploring faith in terms of being a leader in that space through Christian hip hop, but being a leader in my faith, I hid that. Okay. I felt like I was no longer in a good space, that I wasn't being a picture perfect Christian, a little Christian boy or whatever, that, was the darling of Instagram or Facebook or whatever, talking about this music, which I had a child on the way. I wasn't married. I'm out here in these streets. Like, that was the picture that I think I had of myself. And so I hid because I didn't see that I was perfect anymore. And I wanted to be perfect, as if God's children are perfect or something, right? But in order for me to come back to life and feed a side of myself, which is to be able to make content and be able to pour into people and inspire, I rebranded. I was like, okay, well, I feel like I don't really want to speak to this, or this doesn't completely represent who I am now. I'm going to shift, and I'm going to show up as excellence personified. We speak excellence, okay? Not faith, but excellence. Faith is embedded, obviously, and I'm not deviating from what I'm doing right now, but I am highlighting something that I feel like I've done, and an example of me possibly hiding something that I didn't want other people to see. And it ultimately made me feel better about myself and allowed me to continue to push. However, my relationship with God, whether it is a focus in my content or not, that doesn't go nowhere. I still have it. I still have to work on it. And it still needs to be fruitful in order for my content to be fruitful, because that is who I am. So I have to unhide and seek my relationship with him. I have to unhide and seek opportunities that I might have lying before me, whether it's speaking at schools or things I have going on at work, or the relationships that I have with my family or my friends. Like any of these things, don't run from them. Seek them. If there's something wrong with them, seek that too and do your best to fix it, right? All of that is bundled into this idea of me unhiding and seeking. Seek out the things that are giving you trouble. Seek out the things that are giving you adulation. Seek it all. Let it come to you. Okay? You're worthy of it. And if you hide from it, it's either going to pass you by, or it's just going to lay there and wait for you to open your eyes and look at it. But it's there. And the biggest part for me personally is being more vulnerable to show all of who I am. Can't nobody do me like me. I know it. I know it in my mind. My actions don't always reflect that, because I allow other people around me to do their thing and I just watch and consume and be proud of them, or possibly let opportunities that I might have pass me by. Hey, time is up for that. You too old for that. These things are waiting for you to step into and put your name on and own it. You feel what I'm saying? I really appreciate the people around me that remind me of that from time to time. Like, your voice is needed. Your presence is needed. When you step into a room and speak on something, it's valuable. Your presence in this relationship is necessary. Like, do not overlook yourself, okay? Unhide and seek. Unhide and seek. That is my theme for this year. And I encourage each and every one of you who might be hiding certain parts of themselves, or afraid to do something that's been on their heart, that they've been wanting to do for a long time now. Unhide and seek what is lying before you, because it's waiting for you to claim it. I promise you it is. And that's a choice each and every day. Because I'm naturally a hider, I have to choose to unhide, right? Otherwise, I will naturally hide. When I feel good and I'm ready to come out, I'll come out. But then I'll go back and be back in my shell and hide, okay? And let all the momentum that I built go away, right? And I'll start exactly where I started in the first place, and I won't get anywhere. I've been doing that for 30 years, okay? I've been doing that for 30 years. And I will say, because I have been doing it so long, I've built a reputation, good and bad. What you get from me oftentimes is good. It's not consistent though, because when things happen, when life happens, I hide and I go away and I get myself together and then I come back. I can't afford that. I can't afford that. I can't put a number on the amount of dollars that I've probably lost from the sake of not being consistent and not following through on things that I set myself out to do. If I had to go back to Easy Speaks and Christian hip hop, if I had stuck with that, like Christian hip hop is mainstream now, and there are brands, playlist groups that are popping up. If I had stuck with that and continued to make content around Christian hip hop, I knew, what was it? I started making content at the end of 2016. It's 2025. Okay. Not to say that I eventually would have wanted to evolve my brand or whatever it might be anyway, but if I had stuck with that, I would have a ton more followers. I can assure you. Not that that is the end all be all of value, but I would be a pioneer or a pillar in the Christian hip hop space. I can assure you, because there was nobody that was, especially in the DMV area, that was doing what I was doing and covering it in the way that I was with the passion that I had. Nobody. And so if I continued to go to concerts and uncover these artists and share this music, like eventually people would have caught on and people would have been like, dang, you got a gold mine over there, low key. Like this positive music thing, that's not too bad. I kind of like this. Especially when the world got dark and people needed some light. If I had followed through with what I was doing in the first place and what brought me joy and what I felt like spoke to who I was at the time, I can't tell you how far I'd be right now. And I feel the same way about this current platform that I have. If I be consistent with it and I continue to bring people on the show and I continue to interview people and I continue to share more about my life, I don't know how far it'll go. I don't know what it'll lead to. But what I do know is that impact will be made, impact will be felt, hearts will be touched, maybe even mended. You never know. But if you hide, you will have nothing. If you've seen Lottery Ticket, the savior in that movie, he had to unhide. Ice Cube was underground because he lost a match. He was a boxer back in the day. He lost a match and was like, my career is over. I'm not me no more. People don't care about me. Ain't nobody checking for me like that. So he hid. I don't know how many years he was down there, but Bow Wow and them, they had to go and find him and be like, hey, yo, we need you. Come handle our light work real quick. You feel what I'm saying? Hide and seek what is in front of you. What is out there for you to claim, put your name on it, and call it yours. Ignite the excellence that's lying within you. Ignite it, unhide, and seek it. It's yours. Woo! All right. I feel good. I'm ready to go about my day. I got to get Savannah up in a minute and get her ready for school. Hey, look, y'all. I fully believe in you as individuals. I believe in us as a people. As I'm recording this, it is Black History Month. I talked nothing about Black or history, but happy Black History Month to all who celebrate. Take full advantage of the shortest month of the year and celebrate yourself, the excellence that you are out here doing. And when March 1st hits, keep celebrating because it don't stop. You are powerful. You are excellent in the walk that you are on. And I encourage you to continue walking and claim what's yours. All right. That's all I got for now. If you found this episode fruitful, impactful in any way, share it with those around you. Reach out to me if you feel like you hide currently and need to seek what it is that's out there for you. Reach out to me. Share with me in that journey. I feel you. I've been there. I am there. I've done it. Let's do it together. And I thank you for listening. And until next time, you already know what it is. Peace, love, and joy. I'm going to holler at y'all. Moving around.